How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome back to Marc's Gems. If you've seen any of my previous videos, and welcome if you are new. Now, the purpose of this video is for us to talk about why you feel lost right before your breakthrough. We've definitely all been there. You've been there, I've been there, the dog has been there, the cat has been there, right? And you're not alone in that feeling of feeling lost before a breakthrough. Many people are experiencing that right now. That is something that I've recently have went through and endured myself. So in this video, I am going to share with you some indicators as well as some things that you can do to help you push through, to help you get past the finish line. Now, keep in mind that the season that you're going through, it is very normal, right? Especially if you're a person who's inclined to growth and don't want to stay stagnated. A lot of us spiritually want to grow. We just don't have the tools and resources to know how to do so, right? And then once we begin that journey, a lot of us, either quit or stop fighting because the pressure gets too hard, right? So you're not confused, you are not behind, and you got this. You just need the right support and the right systems behind you, the confidence and the focus to be able to want to move forward with it. And again, this transition is very uncomfortable, but if there's no comfort, then you're not growing. You know how they have the saying that says, no pain, no gain? Well, that applies to, stepping into your break. The saying that they say, if it were easy, everyone would be doing it. If it was easy to step into your breakthrough and transition into who God created you to be, everyone in the mama, the daddy, and the baby will be doing it, right? So it's definitely going to be uncomfortable, comfort, if you're too comfortable, then, it's nothing that you're working towards. So, sometimes you have to get uncomfortable to where the uncomfortable becomes comfortable. So what are breakthroughs, right? Breakthroughs typically start with confusion, a lot of confusion, no clarity. You're wondering if you're making the right step to take you 2 steps forward, or if that action will take you 10 steps backward, right? And a lot of times it's not easy because you're confused. You feel like you're doing the right thing, but you're not seeing any progress. And then you start to get in your head about it, and then you think like, okay, well, I got this. Something has to be wrong. Something has to be off. And I'm here to tell you that nothing is off, right? That's just your mind and your body adjusting to something that it has not went through. So look at it like conditioning, right? It's around the new year. A lot of people are going to the gym. A lot of people are working on fitness goals, right? So keep in mind, let's just say, for example, you hadn't been in the gym not a single day, right? In 2025, right? Or last year. And you go into the gym and let's just say you're trying to lose some weight, right? And you go on the treadmill and you immediately on the first day out the gate try to jog or run 5 miles. That is going to be a very uncomfortable experience, right? Now keep in mind, you haven't went through the motions of figuring out how to properly stretch, how to hydrate yourself, proper nutrition and things of this nature. So when it comes to breakthroughs, right, it's a season of preparation, right? You need to be able to prepare yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and have the right tools and resources and consistency, which is number one, to prepare yourself and condition yourself for the real thing, right? So think of it like a play, right? You have everybody within the play, and everybody has their script and their roles, and they're practicing the roles, memorizing the roles, getting consistent, right? And getting their emotions right, and the pauses and the breaks, just so that way when the curtains go back and it's time to be down to reflexes, it's coming natural, right? Nobody's off beat, nobody's off rhythm. And that's just the same thing how a breakthrough comes, right? God is not going to bless us with something if we aren't prepared for it, because it will cause more harm than good. And I also know that sometimes these things are not obvious, right? The signs are not there. I've been in several situations where I'm doing the right things, I'm praying, meditating, fasting, doing whatever, and there is no sign. I'm not getting any flash of light in my head like, hey, Marcus, you're going in the right direction. But over time, for me, what I was developing was like that inner strength, right? That inner trust and faith that a breakthrough is near, right? And the only way that you get that is by being consistent. Also keep in mind when you're on the brink of a breakthrough, your values, your identity, and your priorities are shifting, right? But not in the way that you think. So in in this new 2020, 2000 and beyond, when cell phones and internet came, we're so used to instant gratification and things coming immediately. But that's just not how breakthroughs work. They're very gradual. They almost feel evasive even though they're there, right? Sometimes, some days you may feel like it's right in your reach. Some days you might feel like you don't even know where to look for it, right? The breakthrough, but you're not lost, right? So what if I told you that feeling lost is actually life asking you questions in the sense of who you are, right? Looking yourself in the mirror and be able to say, hey, you know what? I really came through that. You know what? Looking back on it, I really did become more of a person than I was 6 months ago, last week, yesterday, right? And that's why I stress the importance of reading the book called Measuring Backward, because it gives you that clarity. A lot of times we're so focused on the future to the point where we want to be, to the point where we forget where we started, and how far we came needs to be celebrated, right? So say, for example, you were learning how to jump rope, right? Elementary school, learning how to jump rope, and first time you try to jump rope, you keep clipping up over the rope, keep getting tied up in your shoe and your ankle and everything like that, and then you stay consistent. You do a little bit more every day, and then you finally get one down, right? But you can't go any further than one. And then you get a little bit better, throughout the weeks, and then now you can do 10 consistently without doing it, right? Most of us will look over at the person that's double dutching, getting it in, going crazy, and completely dismiss the fact that we just, a couple weeks, months ago, that we couldn't even do one, and then now we're successfully doing 10, right? So when it comes to breakthroughs, it's always good to focus on what we're doing, right? And don't get distracted by outside noise, because that same person that was double dutching nonstop were once where you are on the single rope. So ask yourself a question, what are some small, consistent things that I can do to help me navigate through my breakthrough? And then ask yourself again, what have I been doing in the past that I may be just pushing off to the side and not giving myself, the credit for, or celebrating myself for? Because those do matter. And sometimes you have to write them down, right? Sometimes you have to meditate on them just to really understand. And I love the exercise that they had in the Measuring Backwards book, where, you take your previous wins over the last, I believe it's 12 months, 6 months, 30 days, right? And then write all those out. And then you go to what you want to accomplish within the next 12 months, right? But the best part about it is what you've accomplished in the last 12 months. So to be more specific, if you have any goal, write down the goal, and I'll put the instructions in the link below on how to do this exercise. But essentially, goal that you want to achieve, right? And then begin measuring backwards, seeing all of the things that you have accomplished on the path to that goal, and really just focus on it and see how far you came over the last couple weeks, months, years, right? And one thing that I do want to let you know, that you are not behind, right? You're right exactly where you want to be. I know sometimes it can be frustrating, it can be disheartening. Sometimes you don't even want to get out the bed. It doesn't matter what type of encouragement that a person gives you. It's not landing because you feel like you've done all that you can, and you feel like the pressure is too much. But I'm here to tell you from my personal experience that that is a clear sign that you are on the edge of a breakthrough. The devil ain't fighting nobody who he doesn't feel like is about to do something big. Just always remember that. You are becoming somebody who's resilient, someone who is purposeful, and someone who can lead others, someone who can be the beacon of light for everyone else who's watching you and following you. And that's pretty much all I got for this video. I appreciate you all for sticking with me this long. And do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me about your breakthrough or where you are in your season. And, maybe we can share some ways that we can help each other get to that next level. And then once again, I appreciate you all for stopping by Marc's Gyms. I hope you all have a great day. Peace.